All right, quick video. I'm not even gonna change for this because I thought this subject was clear, but apparently is not, and a lot of people are still confused about it. One of you guys asked in the comments of one of the recent videos, what actually happens when I use the HPF filter on a compressor, the sidechain filter on a compressor? Is the bass not being compressed? Because it seems to me like it's louder. And that's a legit question which I will respond to, hopefully once and for all, in this video. But another user responded to that question before I could get to it, and he says, well, basically the compressor is not going to compress anything below where you set your HPF. In that case, I think it was 150. So pay attention. He said that the compressor is not going to compress the low end, right? When you engage the internal sidechain filter on a wideband compressor. And that is very, very wrong. I did not one, but two videos about it. One explaining exactly what the internal sidechain, which is in this case is a filter, does and how it works. And another video in which I explain the differences between external sidechain and internal sidechain. So here we are, once and for all. Internal sidechain on a wideband compressor. So usually your HPF filter, all right? For example, an SSL style compressor or my West NG bus or the RIA or any other compressor with a sidechain, with a filter, right? What happens when you engage the HPF in a wideband compressor is that the filter removes the low end from the detector of the compressor. The detector, in layman terms, is what the compressor hears and sees, right? What triggers the compressor, okay? The internal sidechain make it so the compressor doesn't react to the low end, but it's still a wideband compressor. So every time that you see the compressor doing gain reduction, is compressing the entire signal, 20 hertz to 20K hertz. The entire signal. It doesn't matter where you set your sidechain, 90, 40, 150, the wideband compressor doesn't turn into a multi-band compressor or a band selective compressor by engaging the HPF. The HPF simply prevents those low frequencies, which are usually really high energy, especially in a hip-hop mix, to trigger the compressor too much. That's why we use the sidechain, because usually in modern music there's a lot of low end, and if you don't have a sidechain filter on a wideband compressor, especially in your tube bus, what happens is the low end is what triggers the compressor, and it usually triggers it too much. We remove either all of it or some of the low end, so what the compressor sees and what it reacts to, it's balanced. It reacts to kicks and snare and vocals and whatever we want it to react in a balanced way, as opposed to kick and bass triggering 12 dB of compression. Of course, when you do use the HPF, going to the original question, you will hear more bass, so to speak, as opposed to not using the HPF. It's not that there is more bass in your mix. It's simply that because it doesn't trigger the compression, right? Because we remove it from the detector. Of course, those kick, hits, and bass will be, so to speak, louder, but they're not louder than they were before. They are at the same level, they just don't get compressed, while the compressor reacts to more the mid-range, okay? Or whatever, again, we want to react. Because sometimes, for example, if we take the API 2500, has three position, the thrust circuit, all right? One is normal, so flat, so no filters. One is tilted a little bit, so it reduces the low end in the detector and it boosts slightly the high mids and highs. And then it has the loud setting that is like this and almost completely cuts off the low end and boosts all the top end. So the compressor basically reacts almost to the very top end. And other compressors have extended sidechain filters or combination of filters, some either parametric EQs or one knob to boost the mid-range. For example, the Successor, it has 2 or 3 positions for the HPF, and then you can decide to boost 800 or to boost 3K or to boost 5K when you want the compression to react to that specific frequency. But no matter what you do in the sidechain never turns a wideband compressor into a multiband or a band selective compressor, for example, like the Vice DS1 MK3, okay? It doesn't happen. When the compressor compresses, it compresses everything, including the low end. I think this will clarify this obscure subject for some reason about which many people are still confused, and let me know in the comments down below if you have questions. If this video was useful and you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat, lift me up.